Yeah, you got to roll with the punches. Welcome back, everybody, to Hibernian Radio. This is show number 311. My name is Patty Houlihan. I'll be your host all hour. Joining me tonight, the 2025 Chicago St. Patrick's Day Queen and her court. Kara Walsh, welcome to the program, Kara.
Hello.
Girls, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm excited to have you guys here. This is the first time I've hosted the show. You guys, how many of you were on the court last year?
Just myself.
Just Kara?
Yes. We have one other girl, but again, she's our second city girl, so she's at class tonight.
All right.
But we have great representation with these ladies, too. We're very lucky to have them. And, longevity here. Look at all this new blood we have.
New blood. A little bit of history about the Chicago St. Patrick's Day Queen Contest is that it started a number of years ago, and it has a long storied history tied to the city's deep Irish heritage. And the contest, which traditionally crowned the Queen of the Chicago St. Patrick's Day Parade, dates back several decades. Do you know how many decades exactly?
More than 50, because we crowned we had a queen this year from 1975. Come to the day, and it was amazing to see her there. She lives in Charleston now, and she flew up just for the competition. So it was like so great to see just 50 different women in different fields. They all look different. We have redheads, brunettes, blondes. We have it all. And it's just great to see. And now people have families, and they bring their families.
There's a real sisterhood involved. And,
really,
and before the cameras rolled, I was saying that there's a real sorority behind anyone who's been a queen or been part of the court throughout the years. A little bit about its origin and purposes: that the contest was established to attract young women of Irish descent to serve as the queen of the annual parade. And it's one of the largest parades in the country. So there's a lot of exposure there for you young women.
Definitely.
Certainly the best parade in the country.
There you go.
I have relatives I'm still close with in Ireland, and it's well known over there too. This is a global parade for sure. It might just be in Chicago, but people are watching everywhere.
Now, the purpose of being queen and part of the court is to act as ambassadors for Chicago's Irish American community, making public appearances, podcast episodes like this, and promoting Irish culture throughout the year. So it's an all-year thing, but it starts a couple weeks. When exactly were you crowned, Kara?
Yeah, so we were crowned around mid-January, and we pick up right away. We had an event the next day after we were crowned.
Oh, wow.
Sashed, as we say. So after we were sashed, we had an event the next day, and we've kind of just been rolling since then. I always like to say if we have a free night, it's a night wasted. We need an event every night. So we are booked and busy through March 17th. Then it does die off a little bit, but comes back in the summertime. We'll do a lot of events in the summer, and then, of course, around holiday season too. But our reign officially ends in January 2026.
Well, congratulations on being queen this year, Kara. You're a St. Ignatius grad.
I am.
You went to Loyola University here in Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Jesuit education through and through.
And, I went to a Jesuit school. I got kicked out, though.
Oh. You told us that story last year.
So I don't think I could ever be king of the St. Patrick's Day Parade.
No, there is no king either, and perhaps maybe for that reason.
Why don't we go down the line and have the girls introduce themselves?
Hi, everyone. I'm Kathleen Foley. I'm originally from Oak Park, Illinois. I went to Ascension School in Fenwick High School and graduated from the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign, and then got an MBA at DePaul University while I was working full-time. I work in trucking and logistics, so
right on.
It's very classic for me to be around a bunch of guys that think they should be kings.
Very good.
I'm very excited to be here and be on the court with these girls.
Hi, my name is Claire Cahill. I'm originally from Elmhurst. I went to IC grade school and then Fenwick High School. After that, I attended the University of Notre Dame. And I now live in Lincoln Park, and I work in consulting and go to law school at night part-time at UIC.
Right on.
Claire has so much free time.
I'm so happy to be
It sounds like
this. Yeah, in all my free time.
I'm Colleen Couch. I grew up in Barrington, went to Barrington High School, go public school. And then I went to the University of Dayton in Dayton, Ohio. And now
Go
I
Flyers.
work. Go Flyers. They just had their last game recently. So sad that the season had to end like this. But oh well.
Yep.
Maybe next year. And I work for a media company, actually, Kara, and I work for the same media company, which is so funny.
We see each other. There are 60,000 people in our office, and I see Colleen every day, so I'm very lucky.
Which is so funny. We never ran into each other, and now it's
Really?
every day.
Yeah.
Oh, that was going to be my next question. Was were you aware of each other's
No,
presence
no.
or know anything about the Queen contest?
My sister told me after the contest, she goes, "There's a girl who works at your company, and she won. I was like, which girl? Like, I had no idea.
We had no
Honestly, 'cause
idea.
before this, I would have never known any of these girls.
Yeah.
So that's why the contest is so amazing. And like any listener who has a young woman in their life, like they should encourage them to come on out because you
Yeah.
can meet so many amazing people.
Now, I'm curious to know, how did you first discover the Queen contest?
This is a great question. I think everyone should share their stories if we
Yes.
have time. But my aunt, Mary Collins of Park Ridge, she now goes by Queen Aunt. So if you ever see her, she
Yeah.
goes by Queen Aunt. It was like her dream to have one of us on the court. She never needed us to be queen. She was like, just be on the court and I'll be happy.
Sure.
So last year, she hyperfixates on one girl a year. So like all my sisters have done the competition. All my cousins have done the competition.
Uh-huh.
And last year I got on the court and she was bawling her eyes out. She's like, we've done it. We did it.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, do you want me to do it again next year? And she was like, you
Oh,
have
yeah.
to. So then I came out this year and I won Queen. And I think she needed an EMT, a medic here. Like
Mhm.
she was hysterical. And, you know, it's just been so fun across our family, but I wouldn't have been without her. And I think she saw it in a newspaper like 15 years ago. And here we are now.
Colleen, how about you? How'd you know?
Let's see. My mom grew up in Lombard, and she was actually the Lilac Queen in Lombard. And then ever since then, she's like, well, my daughter has to one up me. So ever since then, yeah, she needs a sash too. Actually, when we went to the Carryman after the Queen's contest, my mom put on the sash and she took a picture.
Uh-huh.
So it was very reminiscent. But yeah, ever since I was born, she was like, we're just going to get you ready for the Queen's contest. Although no one told me that I had to go to, public school.
So she
or
was
private
aware
school.
of the Chicago St. Patrick's Day Queen contest, or
Yes.
was it she just wanted you to be a queen in general?
No, she was aware of the St. Patrick's Day contest. She just wanted me to one up her.
Shocking Irish women putting their hopes and dreams on the next generation.
I'd love to do that.
Really glad you guys all delivered. That's important.
Kathleen, how'd you find out?
My cousin's grandma was the late, great Jerry McPartlin.
Oh, yeah.
And so his sister-in-law, Beans O'Brien, said to me at his wedding, actually, I had a Kelly green dress on. I was in college and home for a weekend. She said, oh, my God, you would be the perfect queen. You look just like the picture of a queen. And,
Yeah.
10 years later, I said, oh, I actually am going to age out. And then they extended the age, and my friend Megan had been in it. So I just tried it last year, and walking out, Colleen, O'Connell, what's her?
Catherine O'Connell.
Catherine O'Connell.
Yep.
She said to me, she was like, oh my God, you're amazing. You got robbed. And I was like, you have to be saying that to everyone, but you
Yeah.
just gave me the confidence to come back next year.
Yeah.
So I came back and actually this summer went to Tralee, Ireland with Megan Cahill, who's the Chicago Rose. And when we
Yeah.
got back, I was like, all right, F it. I'm doing it again. We'll see how it goes. Worst case, it's a Sunday that I dressed up and nothing happened. So
Yeah.
it was really fun to get
It's
to
always a fun
sashed.
afternoon to go down there.
Yeah.
It
The,
is.
pe- the
so much
people
fun.
watching alone. I mean, at least for me,
Well, yeah, I'm sure it's fun for you. It's very stressful for all of us
Yeah.
in the basement of
So much
Plumber's
stress,
Hall.
but
I don't know. Like, is it because
so stressful.
it's not? It's got to be a bit of a surprise, right? You go down there, and there's so many young women who are young professionals, typically,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Definitely. Your students.
Um,
I think Claire has the best take on it because she's been on both sides. She was there when Megan was sash, and now she was, the one sash. So Megan, you
Yes.
wanna share?
My sister tried out for a couple of years and she was on the court for the past 2 years and she aged out. So it was my turn to try out this year and have her support me. So I got to see it from this perspective of a fan cheering on my sister. And I was like, why is this day taking so long? Can they
Yep.
make it go faster?
Yeah.
And then by the time it came to me, I was nervous to do it. I didn't know if it was my thing as much. It was the best experience I've ever had. Even though there were nerves that day on, competition day, the girls are the nicest people you will ever meet. You're talking about your different careers, meeting new women, same interests, similar background and history. And it just is a great community of women.
Yeah.
So even though you're nervous and you're like, what am I going to say up there? When you're downstairs with all the girls, it's relaxing. It's fun. It's nice to meet new girls. And it's a great environment.
Well, I'm sure there's got to be a lot of poking fun at the whole situation that everyone has put themselves into.
Yeah.
I mean, that
Right.
we're doing a pageant. and
A
there's-
pageant.
There's
Also,
two
like-
rounds where they're just looking at you.
None of us are like
That's
pageant
what I want to
people.
ask.
No.
Yeah. So like the first round, we go down the stairs and we just
It's held
walk.
at Plumber's Hall for our listeners.
Right,
That-
yeah, Plumber's Hall. And we just walk in, our families kind of, that's where everyone participates and everyone gets their picture taken. And
Mhm.
it's kind of just like the baseline. And then we go into the second part, and that's the speech. And I find the speech to be the hardest part of the
No,
competition.
let me interrupt you for a minute. Like, it's a speech in front of all the judges.
And
all the
everyone there.
30-second little intro about yourself, like nothing huge.
Oh, like
Oh, it's
yeah, I kind of remember
intimidating.
that because it was
but
like
it feels like a speech.
like I'm Siobhan, I'm from Wrigleyville.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know, like okay,
I'm a lawyer. Yeah.
right.
But everyone's listening, and like it's dead silent. You can hear a pin drop, honestly. And you give your spiel, and then they do the first cut. So the first cut's after that, and they go down to 35. And then from 35, I think it goes to 15. That one is tough. And then after 15, I think it's a breeze. If you make top 15, it's a breeze because then you're in the judges' time, and you go and you interview with each group of judges.
Right.
And there's 20 of them. So you'll do that for 2 minutes a table. Usually is like about 10, 12 minutes.
Yep.
And then they choose their top 5 from there. And those are the finals. So they're just trying to find the queen at that point.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
everyone makes it when you're top 5. So you're like kind of celebrating at that point.
Sure.
Top 5 is
And
celebrating.
you do the same thing. You do the interviews again, and you get every question asked. You get it across the board.
Are the judges the same every year?
No, there's similar ones that they
Okay,
choose.
yeah.
Yeah, but Mr. Coyne says he does like to switch it up because
Yep.
you want to get different perspectives, different
Yep.
people, and roles and aspects of society. So yeah.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of chatter going on because if you've done the contest a few times, and like you, Kara, you were on the court last year and you won it this year. There is a lot of chatter behind the scenes of being like, oh, like who's a dark horse? Who's going to win it? Like, am I going to win it?
If there is
or
chatter,
a surprise,
I don't know anything.
or a surprise where you're like, oh, like what is? I mean, I know girls can be catty, but like,
Oh
my gosh, there is
what's-
not that.
I want to know what's
Not
going on
Irish
in that
girls.
room upstairs when the cuts happen.
You're
Like,
definitely your father's son because he was the same way last year. He's like, tell us the drama. There was no one.
No
like,
drama.
honestly,
No drama.
No drama between us because
If there
like
was any shouting, it was like, does anyone have any extra hairspray? And then 6 other girls would be like, what kind do you need?
yeah.
yeah, it's,
And
Yeah.
it's
It
so
was
sweet.
women
Everyone's so
supporting
nice.
women in the basement, and it really was just uplifting everyone. You're doing a great job. So impressed by everyone's little 30-second speech because
Yeah.
everyone is involved in this organization, works for this great job. Everyone has
Yeah.
such impressive work that they do. So it was really more uplifting
Mhm.
than any cattiness. So that was one of the best things out of the whole experience was the women were so great.
And I think that's too, like, there could be a ton of drama, but when you hear these women's basically resumes, when you go up there, I mean, you're listening to someone that has their CPA, a lawyer in progress. I have an MBA. We have all these girls that have such amazing accomplishments. And then if they don't have, another degree under their belts, they're volunteering at 6 different places. They're
it's
the
amazing.
president of this club. They're involved in every Irish
Yeah.
club. So then you get downstairs and you kind of just look at each other and you're like, how do you do it? Like, how did you get involved in that? And also, like, can you shoot me like a flyer on it or something? Because
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like I'm not well rounded. I feel like it's like a college interview, and I'm the one that doesn't have any volunteering. I just play sports. Like,
Great
I was
opportunity
gonna
for
say,
networking.
It is.
I was gonna say the same thing. There's no reason we would be like rude or catty towards one another because we're so different. So
Yeah.
you're just amazed by everyone. You're like, oh my God, I didn't know you could do that. Or how do you get involved there? And
Oh,
so
definitely.
honestly, there's just interest, I think,
Yeah.
amongst the women there. And I think if people are coming to the contest, come with an open mind because you're going to
Sure.
meet people from all different walks of life.
And anyone scared to try out, it's the best supporting environment and way more fun than you could imagine.
Now, how many of you girls went out for this? Like, how many years have you, like, is this your first year?
it's my second year. So I did it last year and I made the top 15 and then did not make the top 5. Very stiff competition. Lots of girls that have been doing it for a long time. So no knock on myself. But
Yeah.
my second year on and got to be on the court, and I age out this year. And my first thought was, oh my God, how exciting that I just get to go do this with everyone and frankly be able to be a part of everything
Yeah.
and meet all these people. And, at the first event we had, one of the police officers was like, oh, you are in such a great place to meet people. You're working with the guy that controls all the water in and out of the city of Chicago. I'm like, okay, amazing. But also like, what's up? I need some friends in the force. Like,
Yeah.
you got any sons? Like,
Well, that
you
is
got
one of
girls.
one of the cool things about the ceremony and in the community is that it is a great networking opportunity. And any girl who gets on the court or becomes queen is instantly known by some of the more prominent decision makers in business here in Chicago. At least if you have Irish heritage, right?
Which we all
we all
do.
Which is everyone is
There-
angling for.
To clear up as well, there's no blood test at the competition. Day. You do not run your
No
genealogy.
23andMe
Your
moment?
genetics.
You just got to type down a couple Irish last
People are always like,
names.
do they like ask? I'm like, you just have to like know where your family's from and like be able to talk on it. But
Yes.
like, get me started. I'll go on and on.
Well, cool. I'm glad you brought that up. So there is the component of an interview, like saying who you are and the school you went
Yeah.
to and what you do, what line of work you're in. But they do ask you about your roots,
Yeah, that comes more in the top 15 and top 5 when you get to that like one-on-one time.
right?
And they'll ask you, where's your family from? Some people said like, who's your favorite Irish history person? And who's your favorite celebrity?
Right.
And you know, my
I hated
family.
that question. I bombed it.
You did? I want to know the answer.
I just like totally froze and I said the Lucky Charms guy from the cereal box. And I
No,
was
that's a
like,
good
oh,
answer.
I'm so sorry.
That sounds good.
So good. And
I
then
was like, oh well.
what they're looking
No, you know why,
for-
Colleen? Because they remembered you.
That's what I'm
exactly. And
saying.
it's different.
What they're looking
The
for
judges
are
remembered that.
more-
They were like, "Oh, she's a wise guy."
She's
Yeah.
got the
She
trip
gives
to
me the Lucky
party.
Charms
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
They're looking for girls that have personality that, you know, can talk to just about anyone because that's who you meet. You meet just
Right,
about
right.
anyone at these events. So that answer was like perfect because it shows your personality and who
And
you
he'll
are.
remember me maybe next year.
So you were winging it a little bit then, or did you have that in your hip pocket? That answer.
No, I just blanked,
Okay.
like fully blanked, because this was my 3rd year doing it. So
Oh,
like
wow,
I
okay.
had a little bit of an idea, but I just blanked.
Isn't it funny? Like from my experience as an actor, whenever I was going out on an audition, the moment I didn't care anymore and
Yeah.
just decided not
That's
to.
when you're rolling.
Oh
with
yeah,
it.
I didn't
That's
look
when
at the
you're,
sides
like, in
that much the
groove.
night before. I was like, whatever, like completely relaxed, and all of a sudden you get a call back, right? You're like, oh my god. Opposed to the times when you're sitting there beating yourself up over it and going
Right.
after the things. So I presume there's that element that exists in this contest as well, right? Like the over rehearsed people. Often maybe the judges are like, maybe not genuine enough. You know, maybe too rehearsed. I don't know. You guys tell
yeah.
me. I mean,
I don't know.
I don't think we would know either since we were never the judges.
Right.
But
not yet. I mean,
But
are there
like-
any former queens that are judges?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
every 5-year, like the 5-year queen is the judge, and then the 25-year queen as well. So in 2030, whatever year that is, I'm
Yeah.
going to be up there because
Yeah.
obviously 5 years, and then 2050, God willing, I'm still alive.
Well, but to that point though, you know, like Carrie, you said like, oh, I was so nervous for the speech, or that was like the
Yeah.
hardest part for me. I'm in sales. I have to introduce myself to clients every single day, like 10 times a day sometimes. And it's not just, hi, I'm Kathleen. It's, this is what I've done,
Yeah.
qualify, why I'm important on the call, all those things. So I got
Mhm.
up there and I was like, oh, this is not that bad. Like I can do this.
It's a pitch.
Yeah, exactly. And
Definitely
it just was like rote for me. But then, you know, everything else, you're literally walking around with a number. You're doing a pageant. I had never done anything like that in my life. I went to Ascension. You would get laughed off the court if you were sitting there
Ascension
talking
Grammar
about.
School here.
Yeah,
in Oak Park.
literally. If you
Yeah.
were sitting there and saying, oh, I do pageants, like I would have gotten a swirly or something.
Yes.
But like that, you guys all seem so poised for that. It seemed like that was nothing. So it's very much like whatever you're most comfortable with. If you have your thoughts, like you seemed like totally amazing off the cuff, but obviously had a little internal
so nervous.
anxiety.
I was nervous because I had so much fun last year, and I was like, don't not
Yeah,
make it
don't
because
throw
you
it.
don't mess up here.
Yeah.
That was why I
That
was
does bring a
nervous. And
component
then-
of pressure.
You guys will get this next year. You bring all your family because they
yeah.
think you're going to make it on court again, and
They're
they
counting on
literally don't know. And then I'm like, I don't want to be embarrassed in front of 85 relatives out here.
Uh-huh.
So you have that pressure of, you know, like only your family can put on you, but it works out. So it'll be
out, yeah.
fine.
It worked out great this
Yeah,
year.
yeah, it did. It
Was
did.
there any sort of, you know, like sing a song or do a tap
Oh, God,
dance or
no, I
anything?
would
Like,
not
so
do
there's
this
Party
competition.
piece?
yeah, there's no
Not for
part of
this.
that.
There is for Rose of Tralee,
For-
but you
yeah.
can opt out and do
It's optional.
questions instead.
Oh, you can.
Which I would definitely do that because I'm more of a question girly. But
Right.
like Megan, her sister, was an Irish dancer, so she showed that as her talent, which is like a shoe-in, you know.
I mean,
Yeah.
Look at that.
Megan dressed in danced in a floor-length mermaid gown, so it's pretty
She
hard
did.
not to bring home the trophy after that. Yeah.
And Claire, this is your sister Megan,
This is my older sister Megan. Yeah.
and she was on the court, or
She was on the court for 2 years, and then she aged out. So that was her last year. And I always went to the competition, supported her. Could never go up against her because she is the biggest star in the family. She is amazing.
yes,
She's the
So
middle
now that
child.
she aged out, it was my time. But she got to participate in the Rose of Tralee, which was so much fun for her. And I got to go, and so did Kathleen Foley. We were able to go to Ireland and watch her perform. We were there for a week.
Awesome.
Yeah, and so it was a great opportunity to kind of represent Chicago because everyone asked us where we were from, what the connection is. Everyone asked about the parade. And so it's so fun to be able to be a part of this now. And for the Rose of Tralee, my sister has organized 30 roses and escorts to come over for the Chicago St. Patrick's Day Parade.
This year?
This year. So she's got about 30 Irish
in her
men
Lincoln
and
Park
women.
apartment.
We got a couple staying in our apartment. But they're all coming for the parade and walking with the Young Irish Fellowship in the parade. Yeah, so it's fun to be a part of it. Got to see them all, and then now they get to see Kathleen and I dye the river green and start off the whole parade.
Well, that is so truly an ambassador.
Yeah, it was, yeah. So we had a great opportunity to represent Chicago, and now a great chance to show them the beautiful city that we have.
Yeah,
the best St. Patrick's Day party on earth.
Let's talk a little bit about what does the parade day look like for you guys?
Parade day is booked and busy
from beginning to end.
Yeah, we have to be downstairs, full glam, ready at 7 a.m.
Where do you guys start? Where do you kick it off?
We go to Old St. Pat's for Mass.
Okay.
There's like a little reception beforehand. Then we go to Mass, which is honestly my favorite part of the day. Like it is, the choir there is just so good.
Yeah.
Last year, all the girls were crying. It was like emotional.
Yeah.
And, it's such a loud and busy day. So to have an hour there, it's like calm, quiet, you're with your thoughts. It really gets you. So be prepared, ladies. Bring tissues. And then from there, we go straight to the river dyeing. And that is like a movie in front of you. I'm like, what are we witnessing? It's just like they add the dye and then everyone goes crazy. And then slowly you're on the other side of the river. And I'm like, how did an hour and a half go by? It goes by like 15 minutes. Honestly.
Yes. Yeah. And everybody wants a photo op.
Yes.
Me included. I'm like, get my picture.
Yeah.
And then we go to the parade after that. And we walk twice. So we'll go in vehicles once, and then we'll actually walk with the plumbers at the end of the parade as well.
Okay.
Which is nice. We get both. And then after that, we go to the parade celebration with the coins, and we
at Plumbers Hall.
No, it is at Smith and Walensky's.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it is very nice. A great view of the river. Sit there all day. And then after a certain hour, we're free to go, and you might find us at one of the bars downtown. So
look out for us. We'll be the ones in the sashes.
See some girls in sashes. Buy them a drink.
Yeah.
Well,
Any
I can only imagine.
Listening, let us through.
Yeah,
let us through.
The sash plays big time.
How many people are walking around with unofficial sashes saying St. Patrick's Day Queen?
I have not seen one, but like I would welcome it because it's just spreading the word.
Imposter!
But like you can't copy this. Like this is like handmade, hand stitched. Like
this the crown. Can't copy the.
So please come out in your sash.
Do you have to? Do you get to keep those when you're done with the competition?
Yeah. And the crown is different every year. So like Grace had a different crown last year, and next year it'll be different.
Oh,
so
cool.
They definitely take like a lot of time to try and figure out which crown will suit like the year, the theme, the person better. And I'm so happy with mine, honestly.
Kathleen, what are you most looking forward to this year?
I'm most excited for the river.
For the river?
Yeah. I've seen it my entire life. Not that I've spent that much time in the last 5 or 10 years. I've been doing wristband deals, so I'm excited to not be in a crowded bar this year and really kind of just get to be a part of it. But dyeing the river is something that, to your point, it just feels like magic, and it's so Chicago. We have to write a essay basically when you're applying for the court, and that was kind of how I ended. Was like, I am as Chicago and Irish as you can be. My middle name is Siobhan, and I butcher it and say it like Siobhan. So that Chicago accent really comes out. So that's what I'm most excited for. And, my grandma's 91, and she's basically on the court as she thinks. And she's coming to Mass. Gets
that's
to
awesome.
come to the dinner the night before. She'll be the belle of the ball, I'm sure. She's coming to the dinner the night before. So I just can't wait to see her kind of.
So you're happy to share the moment with her.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's really her moment. So, yeah.
Carl, what about you?
Oh, I think a little bit of us all agree with that. Like sharing this with our families is the best thing you can do. I have been going to the parade as like, I was honestly a fetus. I was going to the parade. Like I'm one of 5 kids. My parents would truck all 5 of us down there on Columbus and Balbo, and that's where they'll be this year too. So I have family flying in from Texas, they're coming in from Wisconsin, New York. So this is a big celebration.
That's great.
Think parade day as a whole is really exciting. Last year, my mom was going through chemotherapy, so she wasn't able to attend any of the Queen events.
Yeah.
And this year she's cancer free.
All right.
Yeah. she gets to go to every single one with me, and she'll be next to me at the head table this year. So
that's very sweet.
yes, the year is just full of celebration. There's nothing else, but it's the 70th year for the parade. It's these girls' first time, my mom's first time. So just super excited for it all.
Claire, what are you most looking forward to? Claire
I'm
Cahill.
definitely excited for the parade. I've attended it, but it's going to be so exciting to actually be walking in it with such amazing girls to be on the court and queen with. And they've been doing it for 70 years, if we said, the Plumbers Union.
Yeah.
So it's just very exciting to be a part of that and actually get to kick off the start of the parade and be a part of it rather than just watching.
Yeah. Colleen?
I would say all of these things. I've also heard a lot of stories about, all of the girls bonding, between events or like at the hotel. So I'm like really looking forward to that. And I already love these girls so much. So just being a part of this little sisterhood sorority has been amazing and exciting for more memories with them.
So how does it post the competition, everyone's on the queen court. How do you guys get to know each other before you start going on all your rounds? Because they're essentially the plumbers they're putting the queen contest together. They put the parade together. But there are responsibilities that come with being on the queen in the court. So you guys have to now attend all these events.
Group chat.
But I'm sure that
Our
is
group
that what
chat
it is?
Is blowing
Because
up.
like beforehand, are they like, all right, now you guys got to go hang out for a couple? Like we want to make sure all these girls get along. And
No. And like, honestly, we do that just because we like each other. Like we'll go get a drink or something like after our events, or we'll go get dinner.
Yeah.
And, the hardest part is we're all so busy. So it's finding time. Sometimes these events are the only times we can actually get together. So we'll be at this like very important fundraiser with very important people. And then I'll be like, Colleen, what are you wearing on parade day? Like I'll have a conversation with her.
Sure,
I'll be
sure.
like, Claire, where do you get your nails done? Like that's when the true bonding happens, when we're face to face, and it could be at the events, it could be on a bus onto the event, an Uber. We're just fortunate to be together and spending time together for sure.
Obviously, if you're born into Chicago's Irish American community, by the time you're a teenage girl, a lot of those girls are aware of the fact that this ceremony, this pageant exists, right?
Yeah, for sure.
How do you describe it to the people at work that don't?
That's such a good
my God.
question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Monday morning when I went in after the competition, first of all, I went in an hour late because I was like, I just need to like touch. I need to touch grass. Like I just need to.
Good for you. I wouldn't have gone to work at all. I would have been super hungover.
Let me tell you, I was useless. I was sitting in that meeting and I was like, what am I doing here?
So much
I
adrenaline.
have so much to do too.
Yeah.
Because they're like, there's an interview and there's
Checking the
this and
papers and the
this.
news to see where your name is.
Someone Googled me at work
Of
and they were
course.
like, why are you on the news? So describing it to those people, I'm like, it is a really big deal for our culture, for our heritage.
Yeah.
And then I always bring it back to the river dyeing because everyone knows about the river dyeing.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you know like dyeing the river? They're like, yeah. I'm like, we're on that boat. And they're like, oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Like we do a million better things, like
Yeah.
reaching out to the community, volunteering, running 5Ks, jumping in the 33-degree Lake Michigan last weekend for Special Olympics.
Yeah.
But people of that moment and they connect to that moment. So I usually start there.
I was curious to know, like in the competition, and I don't know all the winners or who's been on the court throughout the years, but how many of them are like from out of state, right? Like a girl who's just like, you know what, I'm gonna go for this, but then has no family here and may have relocated here. She's in her 20s, like in a new job, new city, and she's like, I'm gonna do this.
I wouldn't know the answer, but like the exact number, but I would totally welcome it because people
Sure.
come from all over the country. They're like, oh, I moved to Chicago and I'm Irish, but my friend did this. Like I met a girl, she was like, my friend did it last year and I'm with her here this year. So
Yeah.
definitely that. I don't know exactly. Like we're all from Illinois,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I feel
definitely
like
come
the
out.
important part is just the love and pride for the city. So it doesn't matter how long they've been here,
Yeah.
but they appreciate Chicago and understand the history of it. Then I think that's what's more important.
Right.
Your Irish culture for sure
course.
too. Definitely being connected to that. And we all like your grandma, your sister, the Rosa Traley, my family, Colleen's family, like that is a core unit too of this whole experience.
Yeah. And then I was just curious if you guys were able to, discover during the ceremony or, what's happening behind the scenes, how many of the girls in the competition are like hardcore pageant? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, where they grew up being like, I want to be Miss America, or I want
like,
where they've
maybe-
done these competitions over and over again, and
Maybe
now they're coming
1%.
in to the Chicago St. Patrick's Day
know.
Queen
I
I need a
Contest.
single girl
Yeah,
who was
like-
a pageant girl.
If
It seemed
anything,
like
1%.
Every girl there was like, yeah, we're dressing up for a Sunday. Like this is our
Yeah.
event for January because
Right.
it's cold. But Otherwise, we just be in our sweatpants, probably binge watching some show. Like,
Exactly. If anything, I feel like there's a big
Did anyone show up in their sweatpants?
I did.
Oh, we all rolled up in our sweatpants.
It was snowing that day.
You carry the dress in a bag, and then you've got your sweatpants to change into right after. Between every
gotta be
round,
layered up.
that's what we're doing
If
is
you're showing
putting
up
our
in
shoes
heels,
on. Our
that's a
comfies.
problem.
Are
You're
there
up.
rules to like what you have to have on?
No.
Oh.
So somebody could just be like, I'm just gonna wear my jeans and just
they
march
say,
through
like,
this.
hot-
There
cocktail
actually
attire.
have been girls that have worn pants or jeans
I wore pants
last
one year.
couple years,
Yeah.
but they say wear cocktail attire. Don't make it floor length.
Okay, so they
that
do.
you
They
don't
do.
have
There
to,
is
like,
some direction.
go buy
There
a
is
whole
some.
new.
So
ball
no,
gown
no
or
one's gonna make
something.
a statement by just walking around in like a Scottie Pippen jersey or something like
They
that.
might.
We have yet
Maybe.
to see it.
Yeah.
They'd probably be better off with a green
it's-
Blackhawks jersey, something
Oh,
along
there you
those
go.
lines, like maybe Patrick
Yeah.
Sharp. That would be perfect.
Or
You know,
Sox
anything's
jersey.
possible. Come out next year and see.
You know, I almost went this year. I wanted to go.
Oh, you should have.
You missed a good show.
I did. Well, I'm so happy you guys won.
Patty, I feel like you would have been a fierce competitor if you just chucked a wig on.
I think maybe you're right. But you know
Thing of
what?
St. Patrick's Day.
Unfortunately, I'm going to use the term to you guys. I've aged out,
Oh.
which is kind
And
of
the
a.
room goes silent.
Yeah, I know.
about that.
Nothing to say there.
I don't know why I had to bring it up because it does amuse me that you guys are kind of like throwing that around, like oh no,
Oh no,
a
it's
thing.
so
That
real.
you're gonna age out. You're gonna age out. Got to get it in.
And they
What is the
recent-
age? Can I ask what
Yeah.
the age is?
It's 29 and younger, so you cannot be 30. And they
Right.
recently raised it. So as Foley
That's
was saying,
right.
and Megan was able to do it last year because they raised it. So it's not up to us. We would raise it probably if we could because that
Yeah.
means we get to do it longer. But
Mr. Coin, hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
hint, hint.
I've got another
James
good year in me, I
Coin.
swear.
Now, traditionally, I mean, like this is many years ago they used to do the Queen contest at the Hilton. Yeah, back in the day, and it had a giant turnout, right? And there would be hundreds of single eligible men there to witness who was going to be crowned. I'm curious to know, obviously, how many of you are members of the Young Irish Fellowship group here in Chicago? Are you guys part of that at all?
I paid my dues,
Yeah.
but I'm
But you're
not on
not-
the board. I
Oh.
do attend events, but
Okay.
mostly just,
Their
hang
events
out
are
for a
very
happy
fun.
hour.
Same as Kathleen.
Yeah.
Kathleen Sullivan is a board member.
She's
so
very involved.
she's very involved. And
You
she
can't be
helps-
married, right? To be on the queen, to be a queen or on the court.
correct.
Correct.
You
Can't be
cannot be
engaged
married.
either.
Can't be
so-
engaged
You
either.
can be engaged.
Oh, you
yeah.
can?
You can.
Oh, okay.
You can be engaged. Come on out if you're engaged.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just not married.
All right.
And then you have to be under 30 and you have to have just a small amount of Irish in you. It could be even 1%.
Okay.
Again, no blood test. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know, even with everybody saying aged out, maybe there's another competition in the works in the next few years that some of the queens can get together. There's Rose of Tralee.
The Rose of
That has an
Tralee.
age
Right.
limit though
They're
of 30 as
30.
well.
That's the 30 age
A little
limit?
more
30.
misogynistic in Ireland too,
Yes.
because they let the boys be 32.
Oh, really?
Boo.
Wait, the boys?
There's
Oh, there's
Escorts
There's escorts?
There's-
from Ireland. Yeah.
Oh, the men who walk the women up to the
Yes.
stage.
For the
They
road,
try out
for the
too,
road.
They
yes.
don't just walk them up to the stage. During the competition weeks, the girls cannot walk to the bathroom alone. The boys have to walk them. They hold their purses, they hold their phones, they hold their coats, everything.
Like companions.
They're, yeah, I was thinking of a different word, but yes. Yeah. So they're like on it like white on rice. If you get up, literally they're following you. And then if you're like, hey, give me some space, they're like, okay, but I don't know where to go because the guys that are in charge of me are going to yell at me if I leave you alone.
I wonder if there's a Gaelic term for that, for like what those, like not escort is kind of misinterpreted quite
Yeah.
often.
Yeah.
Like if I put that on my LinkedIn profile, people be a
Well,
little bit.
here
Well,
it certainly is.
Yeah,
When
exactly.
you're over there and you say it in the accent, it sounds a little bit better. It's a little bit.
I'm an Irish escort.
Yeah.
There you go.
Exactly. Throw in a yeast.
She's
Sounds
gonna
more
have
official.
15 of them, 15
Yeah, I'll
boys
have about
coming. You
15
could have them on the
boy
show.
escorts,
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, hold the phone for a minute. Wait,
We'll get them out here.
You're having 15 Irish escort men
And then
So
15
at my
girls.
apartment, we're only having the women. A few of the
that are coming because
that are
your
coming,
sister
yes.
did the Rose of Tralee
yes,
contest.
their boy escorts who are coming have an Airbnb in Chicago, and I think we're going to have a party at our. I'm not going to be there. I'll be at Dying the River Green, but my sister will be having a party at the apartment with all of the escorts. And the
Who's writing
brokers.
the screenplay?
My sister.
Literally.
This is, I mean, that's a crazy night
Yeah,
right
I
there.
know.
Oh,
You're at
if you saw the screenplay for when we were in Ireland, we were in a tiny bar called An Shabeen, which means illicit or illegal. They would have us crawl in basically the back door because everything closes at midnight there. We wouldn't roll in until 1 a.m. these boys would be out until 7 a.m. and then they'd be like, oh, it's early still. What do we want to do? There's nothing open. We're in a town of nowhere, nothing. But fine, you guys stay at this bar till 9. And then they'd be like, all right, 11 a.m. Anyone want to meet for lunch? Like, they don't sleep. All they do is party. We were there's no music in this
I don't know
bar.
how I missed out on this opportunity.
Oh, Patty, you would have been an amazing escort.
I would have loved it.
There's no music in this bar. They all pull out instruments. I have someone saying, do you play the accordion? No, sir. No, I don't play the accordion. Give me something easier. You got a tambourine?
You're in a ball gown too this entire
Oh,
time,
yeah.
right? They're in
Yes,
a ball
you're
gown.
in black tie.
So
crawling
And
into a bar.
a disgusting bar.
when they have this competition in the Rose of Tralee, so like it's in a designated town,
Tralee.
Yeah.
Tralee, but all the girls who want to be a part of that are coming from all over Ireland, and then there's ambassadors from the states that are going as well.
Global.
Yes. So
There's-
there's
so it's
32
global.
There are 32 roses every year, and the cities or counties or countries change every year. So Chicago has one every 2 years. So my sister was the Chicago Rose of Tralee for 2024,
Yeah.
and they're not going to have the competition again until 2026. So then I think next year there's going to be, in 2025, there's going to be a Boston Rose because there wasn't one this year. So it just depends
Okay, so it
what
rotates
county
around a little
and
bit.
city.
Yeah.
But there are roses from like Australia. There was like a girl from Dubai.
There's-
The one that won was from New Zealand.
So what about the escorts? Are those guys from all over
We
too?
actually had a
They
Chicago
can
escort
be.
this year. A Fenwick Friar.
Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
was an escort this year. So
He's
normally,
a smart cookie.
Yes,
he was.
normally it's all mostly Irish men as the escorts, but yes, we had a Chicago Fenwick Friar traveled to Tralee for
Now,
the
did he only
competition.
know of the competition because you went to Fenwick as well, and somebody
No,
peeked it to him?
I believe his
What a
parents
love
are from
story. His
Ireland, and he
parents are
spent
from Ireland,
he
yeah.
spent a lot of his life there. I think before moving to the U.S. And attending school around here, so he was familiar with it. Has a lot of family
Yeah.
there.
And in his defense, there was also a Brit that was there. So the
Oh,
poor guy.
we won't
really-
talk about him.
Yeah, he
moving
got
on.
a lot of gruff.
I'm with Carol Walsh and the St. Patrick's Day Queen. Well, I'm with the Queen and the court. You're listening to Hibernian Radio. We're going to take a little break, and we'll be back right after these. Welcome back to Hibernian Radio. I'm with the 2025 St. Patrick's Day Queen and the court. I'm going to go over their names again. Kathleen Foley is here. And then we have Carol Walsh, who is the Queen this year, right here. And then we have Colleen Kelch on the very end.
Hello.
And next to her is Claire Cahill, or Cahill, as they say in Ireland.
They do.
I've enjoyed speaking with you guys. And I do want to ask you, what events are you guys most excited for coming up?
Which one do you think?
I think we're looking forward to Forever Green,
Oh, yeah.
which is with the Young Irish Fellowship Group. That is this Friday at Theater at the Lake at
Okay.
7.
Yeah.
Tickets are still available if people want to come and show up and have a good time. There's music, Irish dancers. I think some vendors are going to be there. So if any girls are listening and they like Alice in Wonder, they're going to be there. So
Oh, stop.
exciting.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait a second. Wait, Alice in Wonder?
Yes.
Oh.
It's
What's
like
that?
a women's clothing store, and they're going to have like, I think, patches for hats.
Yeah, they're gonna have their own merch like for the event. Too.
Yeah.
Oh.
For St. Patrick's Day,
Exclusive.
Chicago.
Oh,
St.
cool.
Patrick's Day.
It's
They have
the
a
It
great
store
line.
in Chicago. Like all the girlies love it.
That was
Yeah.
like,
Over with the Blackhawks right now. Basically, if you were going
what's
to
it
be
called? Alice in Wonder?
Alice
Yes.
in Wonder, if you were going to compete and
So
toss
it's
a wig
like-
on,
it's like
you would shop there.
Brandy Melville for women in their 20s.
Cooler than Brandy.
Interesting that you know that.
I don't know if you hit the nail there, but
Are you sure?
Well, I have a teenage daughter, and that was all the rage a couple
We're
years ago.
not.
Are
I
you
bet
sure
you're
you
not a
didn't
teenage
compete?
girl.
I think Patty is fooling us. He was definitely a competitor.
I think so
if
too.
Alice in Wonder is listening to this, I think we got your back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a
definitely.
person? Her
Sponsor-
name's
No,
Alice in
No,
Wonder?
Allie is her name. Allie owns Alice in Wonder.
God bless.
Yeah, sponsor us.
Anyway,
There's
Forever
a
Green.
theme to the parade this year, yeah?
Yes.
What is it?
It's the 70th annual Chicago St. Patrick's Day Parade, and this year's theme is trades, technology, and education. So honestly, kind of touches on every sector of our city, which is important. I'm a daughter of a union worker,
Right
a
on.
granddaughter of a union worker.
Yep.
I'm Chicago educated, and sorry, I almost called you
Colleen,
Kathleen.
it's all good.
Colleen and I both work in a technology field, so
Yep.
it's just like interesting. The court kind of represents each little sector here, and we just try and connect with the city as best we can. Each year the theme changes as well. So
Each
last
year the
was
parade's theme
yeah.
and the parade committee's theme.
Yeah, they choose it. So last year was mental health matters.
Oh, okay.
And this year it's trades, technology, and education. And it kind of goes hand in hand with our guest of honor as well and our grand marshal.
Who is the guest of honor?
The guest of honor this year is the CEO of After School Matters.
Oh, wow.
And then the grand marshal is Mark Manis, and he is the president of all union plumbers and pipe fitters.
Awesome.
He lives in Boston. So
Oh, wow.
him and his wife are coming out with their family for parade weekend, and he is a hoot and a holler. So I am so excited to have Mr. McManus in the building.
Right on.
Yeah.
Skipping a Boston St. Patrick's Day in Southie really just shows how good the St. Patrick's Day parade in
True.
Chicago is.
Well, you know what is
True.
cool? Like, I'm wondering if there are queens and courts for each city. Like, have you guys looked into that?
Well, I don't mean to be rude, but like,
Why would we?
Why?
Do it?
Yeah, that's true.
this is the place to be.
Of course, Chicago or bust.
But if if there's some sort of like exchange program, like in
Oh, that
the
would be
coming
fun.
years, you know, where like you guys get to go somewhere else for 1 year and then they bring up, oh,
Yeah.
But
I don't know if I
don't
could
wanna
do
miss the
that.
Chicago
I don't want to
St.
give it
Patrick's
up.
Day.
I don't
Yeah.
think Boston or New York have one from what I've seen.
If anything, they want to come here. I feel like
New York's is on
Absolutely.
a different day. Theirs is on the actual 17th.
Right.
So that you could do an exchange program with them. I'm not
Oh,
sure
yeah.
about some
Can't
other
miss the
cities.
Chicago celebration.
I know you could do both.
You can't. You can't. No matter.
these are my startup ideas.
Yeah.
These are my tech startup ideas.
Get some of those girls here on your podcast, and we'll come, and that would be an interesting conversation.
Yeah, give Eric
Boston
Adams
Queen.
a call. Get New
Getting
York
girls on the
started.
podcast has always been rather difficult.
You got 4 of us here right now.
I know.
Consider today a
I
victory.
mean, there's not a lot of
Uh,
girls hanging out at O'Sullivan's trying to pick up a mic and get on a podcast. Shocking.
Listeners, they know about me because I'm friends with her cousin. So
It's also
They're-
just the closest bar.
yeah. See, we're from the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
Kathleen Foley. Girls, I've enjoyed this hour. I wish you the best of luck. I think you're all wonderful selections this year and representatives of the Irish American community.
Thank you so much for having us on your show. Honestly,
Yes.
this is always a peak moment for us to
Yeah.
come
So much
here and
fun.
sit.
And big shout out to Hibernian Radio.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
The best.
I always start out serious, right? And then all of a sudden I got to know you guys and I wanted to know if I could be a king.
Bring it up with Mr. Coyne. I cannot say anything.
I think the podcast might be as close as you're getting to that.
Yeah, it is. Podcast king, I'll take it. All right, you've been listening to Hibernian Radio. We'll be back after these. Girls, thank you and happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's
St.
Day.
Patrick's